Now, MUKUBWA is one of the 4 constituencies in Ndola district. The constituency has a population of over 100,000 residents. Despite the very fact that it is home to almost the entire industrial area in the Ndola district, the constituency lacks proper healthcare system, poor road infrastructure and drainage, poor water and sanitation system, and mass unemployment. My guest this evening promises to address these and many challenges the residents of MUKUBWA are passing through. However, the big question still remains on how will he do it. I'm joined in by MUKUBWA PF aspiring Member of Parliament for 2021, that is Mr. Warren Chisha Mwambazi. Mr. Mwambazi, good evening and welcome to this edition of The Assignment.
Good evening, and I'm grateful, and good evening viewers out there. I'm happy to be here to just discuss on issues and challenges pertaining to MUKUBWA constituency.
Those joining the conversation on the Muvi TV Plus Bouquet Channel 1, the Top Star Decoder, Channel 104, you'll be able to come through and give us your contributions via the number that is scrolling down your TV screen. Yet those that are joining the conversation from across the continent of Africa, yours are social media platforms. Our Facebook handle is Ask Muvi TV. Get to Facebook and give us your contributions and your comments. The live stream is showing right now. You give us your comments regarding the topic we're looking at tonight. We're looking at 2021 elections and the challenges and solutions to MUKUBWA. Like I said earlier, my guest is Warren Chisha Mwambazi. Well, for people that might not really know you, when we hear MUKUBWA, the person we know is the incumbent and is the current minister responsible for health, Dr. Jonas Chanda. Maybe for the people that might not really understand where this Mwambazi is coming from, help us understand your political career as well as your professional career. A brief background.
Thank you, Mansa. I hail from MUKUBWA. I was born and bred in MUKUBWA in an area called Kav. Kav is predominantly a farming area where there's Fatima girls. I think people are most synonymous to Fatima girls. And my political career comes way back. Firstly and foremostly, I was a civil servant. I worked for the Ministry of Finance. I worked for the Ministry of Defense. Then I went to the Office of the Auditor General, where I eventually resigned in 2014 to now pursue my political career. And further, I went now to my hometown, Ndola, and especially MUKUBWA, where I come from. And I've grown up there. I was at Yengo Primary School in Kav area. I went to Chiwala Secondary School. I used to walk in those roads, and I'm well vested with the challenges of the constituency. And coming forth from there, then I did aspire to stand as Member of Parliament 2016, together with the current MP. And I vividly went ahead, and even when I was not adopted by the party structures, but I went there to campaign. I was there the whole period of campaign to support a incumbent Member of Parliament as well as the President. I also worked with other Members of Parliament, Honorable Sambo. I campaigned in Kabushi. I worked with Honorable Alexander Chiteme in Kano constituency. I also worked with Honorable Emmanuel Mulenga in Ndola Central. So these are my friends, because I've worked with them. I know them. So we did aspire together in 2016. And from there, I haven't relented. I continued to mitigate and help the people of MUKUBWA. So in a nutshell, this is Warren Chisha Mwambazi. I'm a son of the soil from Ndola and from MUKUBWA constituency.
I think before really I can get down to the nitty-gritties of why, possibility why you're not adopted. Let me understand one thing. You come from, your story is one that is inspiring, especially from the professional, from the professional side of things.
Yes.
And many would ask why you dumped, professional life to politics. What is in politics really?
Mansa, I'm a chartered accountant. I've done law. I just finished my law school, my LLB, which I did from the University of Lusaka. I've done international relations and all that. My movement from a professional career to go into politics, this has been my desire, to see how well I can save my people. Because if I tell you a story where I'm coming from, in Fatima area, it's called Kav, and I grew up there as a child, going to farms to do piecework to go to school, because my parents, by that time could not afford to pay certain things, school fees and things like that. So those are some of the things I have told myself I need to help the young people in such communities, because here I am, I'm privileged, but I came from the same community. So these are some of the things which I would say were a burden to me to see. Let me see how well we can uplift the lives of our people. How will I do that?
But of course, you're already doing that through your foundation, leaving no one behind. Why can't you continue in that capacity?
Yes, but you see, we need proper representation, because there are certain things we can't do as a foundation. We are limited. So if you represent people as a member of parliament, for instance, if I went as a foundation to say, I want to build this school, I want to do this, sometimes we are blocked, because people, they think, no, these guys, they are supposed to be in this lane, you see. So these are some of the things which necessitated me to say, let me vie for member of parliament and see how I can help the people. Even through the foundation, we'll continue to help the people, but we want to have good access to the communities and see, because that's the only way we can make sure that we help our people.
2016, you wanted to run for office. Unfortunately, that couldn't happen because you were not adopted. Do you have any hopes this time around of being adopted under your preferred? I do know for a fact that you want to get to, the party you're using to contest is a patriotic front.
Yes.
What are the possibilities?
Let me just highlight a few things. Even in 2016, I did very well. On the grassroots, I did very well. At the constituency level, I did well at the district level. But you see, even in politics, you have the reasoning. Okay, I can't get to the core of the reasoning, because I wasn't in that some of those the central committee meetings, and what criteria eventually they use to pick the person who's there. But if I look at now, you see, for me, God's timing is the best, because I've seen different things from 2016. I've actually gained more experience if I compare from 2016 and now, and even the relation with the people and the way we've worked, because from 2016, I've never rested until today to help the people of BWANA MUKUBWA, because you see, we found a gap. After our friends were elected as members of parliament, there were still gaps. People are still coming to some of us, and we continue to help them. We continue to engage the youth and see how we uplift their lives through intervention programs, which I'll further tell you and explain to you. So this is how I've seen the movement from 2016 up to now going to 2021. With the coming general election, we've engaged the youth, we've engaged the elderly, the women more, and there's that interaction, and we now we began a lot of programs at the foundation as well, in which people have really come forth and we've worked together. Now we are able to say we are moving from say 85% to 90%, and come next month, I think we should be closing up to 100%. This is the feedback also we're getting from the people because of the engagement and the programs, the empowerment programs with the youth, the women, and the men as well.
Do you feel that there were, some unfair cards that have been played on you in 2016?
Mwansa, you see, with I can't say much because I wasn't in there, but with these adoption processes, there are all these challenges. There are all these corruption and all that. And we hope, because we've seen, we saw certain constituencies where people went independent, and our candidates, let's say for PF, lost because they were unfairly treated. But we hope and trust that there's now a good assurance that let the grassroots speak and pick the candidate which they want to represent.
We hope now that there's good assurance. You strongly feel there was something not clear in 2016, especially because you told us that you did command some good numbers on the ground. Still nothing.
Yeah, I think my reasoning per se is that you see, even in these political parties, we've got hierarchies. We've got people have joined now, people are coming later, and I think even when they're doing adoptions, I mean it's imperative to look at that. Okay, this guy, as we're underground people working with the PF, but we're in the government, to provide necessary information and guidelines which the party needed at that time. You see, then we move from there. You are not openly in a political arena, so it's different. People want to know you. There are technocrats which works with the parties, but they are not known. But when you come out now fully and start working, then there's now people, oh, he's in the public domain now. Oh, we know this gentleman. Oh, we know now what he's doing. It's different when you're in the background. So there are our friends who were in the, who came out and they were quickly in the public arena. It was different because they knew them. And for me, that's what also comforted me to say, okay, well and good. Let me respect the party's decision. But however, let me continue working. Because day one, from voting, elections, results, our friends were picked. I continued working in MUKUBWA up to now. I've been working with
But I think the Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, Honorable Davis Miller, was very clear on the adoption process. You need to be popular on the ground. You'll have to have the numbers. If you know, if we had to put you on a scale with the incumbent, do you think you're more popular than him in MUKUBWA today?
In MUKUBWA today, I'm very popular. I think that's a notorious fact, which we can't even doubt about it, because you see a person who's engaged the community for 5 years, solid 5 years. I've never rested a day. I've been with the people when they're celebrating, when they're mourning, and I've been mitigating most of their challenges. We've moved together from 2016 up to now. We've sat together and planned. We've liaised. They've got challenges. We've mitigated some of them. Some of them we've not mitigated them, but we've given them hope that come 2021, when you put us in office, we're going to mitigate some of your challenges. And in Bemba, they say, because some of these things I have done for the constituency, I've done it. I'm not an MP. But you see, I've got the heart for the people. And the people, they know, because we've moved together. It's not me who's gone only to the people. They've come to me, I've gone to them, we've sat, we've discussed, and we've moved together. So I can basically say, this is the time.
This is the time for you. You did mention one thing that is very profound, that after the elections in 2016, you hit the ground, started campaigning. Were you working under the incumbent, or probably you had your own parallel structures that you're working with?
You see,
and maybe help us understand, you know, whether you've been complementing the work of the incumbent in your pursuit to be member of parliament. How have you been operating from the time you're not adopted in 2016?
You see, I'll give you a slight background, because the way these politics work. I campaigned for the incumbent. I moved with him. I would speak and say, this is our candidate, the party has given us, let's vote for him. Then I'll invite him on the podium to speak, okay? And once elections are done, finished. Okay?
So you were key in his campaign?
Yes, and they're done, they're finished. Then you wait for your colleagues to come, oh, well done, come, let's move together. But if they don't invite you, what do? People come to you and say, we need help. You start helping the people. So basically, I haven't been working under the incumbent or with his programs. I started doing my own programs for the people of MUKUBWA, because I saw there was a big gap and people were lacking help. So how do we don't want to lose the people, okay, to go elsewhere. We are in the same party. How do we do that? We continue engaging the people, helping them, and say we are from the same party. Yes, this is our brother's time. Our time is coming, but let's work. We're going to help you. So this is how we've been carrying out our programs, because you see, Amwansa, you cannot just let people go loose. They'll go elsewhere. You lose people, they'll defect to other parties, because they are lacking certain things which are not being done by the member of parliament. So how do you do that?
Are you saying that the incumbent has totally failed to hold the people of MUKUBWA?
He has failed to hold the people of MUKUBWA together. If I gave you certain scenarios and how some leadership have disintegrated, that's how I'm saying I came in to mitigate and ensure that we keep the people for the party. I've helped party programs, I've supported party programs to ensure that the people of MUKUBWA, they don't feel left out. Party functionaries come to Youth Day, Women's Day, there are these functions. I've always been there for the people of MUKUBWA. Why? Because I'm not an incumbent MP, but because I'm looking at the bigger picture. If we lose people, how are we going to go back to them? Because these are some of the dynamics we look at in politics. So what do? You ensure that these people are kept. When the time is right, then you tell them that your intentions. You keep supporting them because you want them to stay in the same party.
Two things before we can get to some of the challenges the people of BWANA MUKUBWA are passing through and subsequent solutions that you have for the people of BWANA MUKUBWA. Are you satisfied with the representation that you get as residents of BWANA MUKUBWA with the incumbent in Parliament?
So we are not satisfied because we've got a lot of challenges in BWANA MUKUBWA. Like I've already alluded to, BWANA MUKUBWA is predominantly a peri-urban area, also with a lot of farming blocks in BWANA MUKUBWA. So we haven't gotten full representation as people of BWANA MUKUBWA. Henceforth, that's why some of us, we've come to the fore to ensure that we fully represent people of BWANA MUKUBWA, also mitigate their challenges at our level as members of parliament, also at the national level, and lobby more for the people of BWANA MUKUBWA.
You mentioned another critical thing that you are key in his campaign trail in 2016.
Yes.
Obviously, there was a message that Dr. Jonas Chanda promised the residents of BWANA MUKUBWA. To what extent would you tell us, the people of Zambia, that Dr. Chanda indeed has delivered on his campaign promises?
I think if we look at the scale, not everything has been delivered, but some through the national development have been delivered because we've got programs and projects which under the national development which have been delivered, but some are still not delivered.
From a scale of 1 to 10?
From a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 4.
Wow, below average.
Yes.
Let's get to now understand the challenges. Maybe give us a picture of how BWANA MUKUBWA looks like, and maybe one issue by the other. Maybe let's begin with water.
Yes.
The water situation in BWANA MUKUBWA. When you are elected as member of parliament for BWANA MUKUBWA, how do you intend to sort out the issue of water sanitation in BWANA MUKUBWA?
The issue of water and sanitation in BWANA MUKUBWA, first and foremost, before I say much, I would say we are very grateful to the president for the Kafulafuta water project, which is a $450 million project, in which all these towns like Ndola, Masaiti, Mpongwe, and Luansha are going to be serviced. As we speak, I think works at 80%. And if you look at BWANA MUKUBWA, yes, we've got challenges of water. We've got Ndeke Apa, which is just near the airport. There's erratic water supply. We've got Tuashuka, which is Kaloko area. There's erratic water supply. We've got new suburbs which have come up from Mushili. Mushili has now expanded. We've got what we call Z-World. It's predominantly hilly area, and there's water crisis. People don't have water. But with the coming in of this project, it's on the implementation stage, because the dams have been made, the water, the pipes have been laid, the midway pump stations have been done, but now there's this now of taking water to these communities, which the local water utility company like Kafu Water should be doing in their last 20% of the project to ensure that most of our people are serviced with the water. So as we speak, if this project soon is completed and this water utility company can now take water to the people of Pamozi, which is in a Chifugu constituency.
That's before August 12th.
Yes, then Ndeke and all that. There's a projection, you see, but we can't say before August. But it's in the pipeline, because I was sitting in that subcommittee for 20%, and that's why I'm well vested with what's happening on that water project. But as we speak, when that is completed, yes, we're going to resolve much of those problems of erratic water supply. But we've got areas like Kav, which are not going to tap from that project. And my intention, I've engaged the local, I've engaged the local leadership, I've engaged the area councillor there, and we've come up with a program in which there's an old water system, which we just need to revive. And it feeds into the community. And now these other communities can pay small money. Then we pull the water to their doorstep, and then they can have access to clean water. That is for Kav area. For Z-World, which is a new suburb above Mushili, going the other side until Kantolomba. That is a very ill area. But the people came to me, They brought quotations. We are sitting with the local leadership. We see how we can have them connected through Kafubu water with the provision of our own pipes and all those reducers and things like that. As we speak, people are underway doing the assessment. After the assessment is done, then we are going to do that even before August, because we want our people to have access to water. Come to Ndeke, come to Munkulungwe. Munkulungwe is just opposite Indeni, if you know Indeni area there. There's a new suburb called Highbex. Highbex, they also don't have access to water. Okay, they were getting their water through the pipes going to Dangote, and Dangote has since stopped providing that access. So now we've sat also with the community. There's the councillor there who I work very well with. I supported 2016, and we've sat also. They've given me the BOQ, and we are implementing that project to ensure that those our people in that locality, they have access to water, because they're also supporting it. I'm providing the materials. The local residents are providing labor. Then together we are going to make it, and they will have the water.
In the area of water and sanitation, from how you were speaking, it's like the current MP has failed.
He was the Minister of Water, and still people are crying for water there. They don't have water.
My question is, what would you say is failed?
For me, it hasn't been done, so we still need to do it. That's why I've engaged those communities to ensure that we bring the water to their doorstep, and we are doing that.
Make it sound easy, because the incumbent was, like you mentioned, before he was moved to health, he was minister responsible for water and sanitation, but still, he did not provide, water for the people, where he's serving. Would I be wrong to say that if Dr. Chanda has failed in the area of water and sanitation, the PF have failed, the people of MUKUBWA?
Mwansa, I wouldn't say that per se, because you see, we are different people, okay? We've got access to some of these facilities. How are other people doing it? That is the question. Through the same government. That is the number one question. So it's not an issue of sometimes blaming the government, but how are you lobbying? How are you pushing? Where have you put your priorities? That is question number one. Because if you go to other places, people have got access to water. How have they managed it? Because they've made it a priority. But my priority, if it's just to come to see one ward chairman, I give them 10 kwacha, support me, I go back, and people are still crying for certain access to certain facilities. I need to make it a priority. Because when you are campaigning, Mwansa, you're saying, I'm going to do A, B, C, D. You're not saying I'll be the minister, okay?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, when you go there, you're going as a candidate. You're campaigning based on to say, I'll become an MP, I'll go to Parliament. From Parliament, I'm going to lobby for you. If I'm not a minister, I'll go to the Ministry of Water and knock, and the ministry will open the PS, and I'll present to them the programs. They'll tell me, okay, here, let's look, or no, you're not on our plan, but let's look in the next phase, we are doing ABCD, and it's how I push. That's how certain MPs have managed, because there are certain MPs who've worked very well, and they've performed from the same government. So how is it different for MUKUBWA? That is our question. And to make matters worse, we had our member of parliament was the Minister of Water. Has he given us access to water completely? Nothing. Okay? So these are some of the priorities we need to take also, even ourselves as we go there. We need to look at priorities. Which things are affecting our people? Because I'm not going to give them a school, they don't have water. I need to look at priorities. This area predominantly, the problem is water. Let me sort out the water issue. We were invited at the market, I think 2 weeks ago, if you saw on ZNBC, at Kansengo Market. I sat with a committee there. They told me we don't have water, we don't have ablution block. Then I asked them, what is it that you want us to do now? You've given me 3 things. There's ablution issue, there's water issue. They said, no, Mwambazi, we have issues due to COVID. Our business has been messed up. So first, let's start with empowerment of marketeers. When we move from empowerment, we go to the water. There's a bore already there. It's just provision of a tank, a pump. Then we run the polypipes. People have access to water. So we started our empowerment program. We've given them money to boost their businesses. Next, we are there, we're going to sort out the water problem. We are looking at the priorities, what the people have told us. Because we listen to the people in those communities. Those are their...
Before we look at some of the projects you're running and how sustainable they are, would you say the reason why there's no water in those areas you've mentioned in BWANA, it's really because of maybe the incumbent doesn't have proper lobbying skills, or probably he's not on the ground to know and understand the challenges that the people of BWANA are passing through? What would you say? What would you attribute to as major reason why?
I think for me, the main issue is lack of priority, because in every business, in every campaign, in every people give you challenges, we look at the priorities. Because the people not having water in a Highbex area or in Munkulungwe hasn't started today. Even in 2016 when we were campaigning, even in 2015, 2014 when we were going there, people were still rolling drums, okay? So if you know when you went there, people were rolling drums, do you want them to keep rolling drums in 2021? Women, our mothers, our sisters, if they don't have a kwacha, they can't have water, they can't bath. You see? So these are some of the things you look at. Let me tackle water. Once water is done...
Well, where do you think is placed its priorities?
I'm not sure, because...
I think you're on the ground in BWANA. You can tell us that, look, I think he's been working on this particular project.
Truthfully
speaking,
what I've seen him working on is a police post in Mushili, which up to now is under, using the CDF fund, is not complete. There's a small clinic in Kantolomba, not still complete, you see. So maybe that's where he's put his energy to say, let me put up a police post. You see, which from
2016 to date, those are some of the things you could visibly see that is...
Yes, there's a market also in Mushili, which has taken over 7 years. Up to now, it's not complete. We are talking about lobbying and looking at priorities. I went to Mushili Old Market. They are still not complete. People were interviewed there, still not complete. So that's what we're saying. Each and every particular area has got its challenges. So when you sit with the people, when you are going to engage the local leadership, they'll tell you, here, Bwana, if you just help us grade this road going to the market, because this is the road we access our produce, then we are okay. Then you can come and look at number 2, number 3, okay? So even you as a person aspiring or as a sitting MP, you're going to tell yourself, the only thing I need to do for CAV is to ensure that that combined school, we upgrade it to a secondary school, because those kids walking distances to go and access a secondary school in Masala, in what, it will be of the past.
Do you have a secondary school in BWANA?
In BWANA, we don't have...
because in 2016, Dr. Chanda did promise to...
We don't have a secondary school in BWANA up to date. Government secondary school. Fatima is a Catholic secondary school. So most of these smaller schools have now converted them to combined schools, where they've got now, is it grade 10 and all that and stuff like that. But a full-fledged secondary school we don't have in BWANA constituency. So this is why, once I'm saying, in every setup when you go there, you do your SWOT analysis. You also look at, okay, what is it that they want more compared to the other? Then you sit, because you see, when you sit with the local leadership, they tell you, when you implement that and go back, they're not going to hold you accountable to say, no, you said you do this, but you've done it. This is what you wanted me to do. This is what was your priority. So these are some of the things, even us through our foundation and myself, we've looked at, identified. We haven't just gone into BWANA and started, let's do this. We sit down. Our guys go on the ground. They do the assessment. They sit with local leadership. Oh, no, here the problem is this. No, here is sanitation. Here is water. Here is what? Here is farming input. Here is market. We need a market. There is no school. As I speak now, the Catholics through St. John the Baptist, New Kaloko Church, they're building a primary school in Dam area, because children there didn't have access to a nearby primary school. They would walk over 30, 40 km to access the primary school. And it's rainy season, we've got our girl child who's vulnerable, we've got all these things. So these are some of the things as we've looked at and partnered with most of these churches, and we are building classrooms for these kids. We are doing
Before we can come to what you're doing in your personal capacity, let's get to understand other challenges, besides water and sanitation? What are the challenges, that you've identified?
Yes, I'll give you an area called Chichele. Chichele is predominantly a farming area. As you are going, you can access it through Kitwe Road, Kasongo area there, you go inside there. The road is bad, it's pathetic. It's a gravel road, okay? And we've seen gravel roads being done all over in the country. How have you lobbied with the Ministry of Local Government? So those are the issues we are talking about. If you go there, I drove there myself, and they were telling me, where you're coming from. That's our cry, because us here we are farmers. When we do our milk, we have to send it to town. When you produce our cabbages, we have to send it to town. The other place called Mwenye, also Mwenye is in Chichele area. They haven't had access to you can't access the area because the smaller bridge they had where cars would pass collapsed. From 2016 up to today, I saw an excavator 2 days ago. But is that how we want to keep our people? No. They've engaged me several times. The councillor there has come to me. We've gone there. We were told things. No, don't do it. We are going to do what? You see what I mean? But up to today, if you checked, people still can't access. When someone gets sick in that area and they need to transport them to Ndola Central, they have to go around to Rwansha Road. And it costs them a lot of money. We've got our mothers there who are expecting. We've got our brothers there. They are working in these farms. Why can't we give them that small access? But why should it be done now and not then? That is the question.
Probably now that's when money has been found.
No, Mansa. That's not correct. It's not when money. You look at priorities in certain areas. Okay, guys, instead of me doing a small clinic here under CDF, let's do the proper bridge. Then that way you'll have access, your produce, everything. You can go anytime, and it's cheaper for the residents. You see school-going children going in smaller bridges, okay? When it's rainy season, it's sad because people have died, people have lost lives, okay? It's not, that is upon the incumbent members of parliament to see what is peculiar to a certain area. What is it that I need to do? Okay? When you engage people of that community, they all talk about the bridge. Even if we go there, no, we are doing empowerment, they talk about the bridge. So you say, this is what's important for them. Then that's where you focus. So some of these things we decampaign ourselves, even as sitting members of parliament, even us who are going there. I think that is an example. We need, you see, in politics, people are so swayed to say every time, no, you need to promise, lie to the people. Speak the truth. This is the politics we want. Speak the truth. Say, gentlemen, this we are going to do, this we can't do. How do we do this? We do it as a community. Because even me going to BWANA MUKUBWA, I'm not a savior. I'm not going to do everything. But with my best ability, I want to engage the people of BWANA MUKUBWA and ensure that we work together through the provision of certain mitigating factors to their challenges. We sit with them and say, let's do it together. You've seen me go to some of these places. I'm also putting the shovel. We are working on road programs. Because why? We want to show them that it can be done. And it can be done as a community. As we move further, I think I'll explain to you how we've also implemented some of our programs.
Of course. But I'm about to move to how you intend to uplift the healthcare system, in BWANA MUKUBWA. I do know for a fact that you did highlight that the incumbent, Dr. Jonas Chanda, has been working on some clinic, but then it has lasted for over 7 years. But let's give us a picture of how the health system, care system is in BWANA MUKUBWA. How do you have health centers, and how is the situation really in terms of that area?
You see, if you look at BWANA MUKUBWA, I'll start with Mushili. Mushili has got over 25,000 residents. That's the catchment area. That's the biggest area in BWANA MUKUBWA. It's called a small mini clinic. Okay? People, when they're sick, they're going to Curve area. The Catholics have built a big hospital called St. Dominic Hospital. And most of those people now from BWANA MUKUBWA catchment area, they're flocking to that area. Okay? Why don't we upgrade that Mushili and make it a first level? Because we are looking at the catchment area. Make it a first level hospital where our people because if you look at BWANA, it's over 100,000 plus residents of BWANA. As we speak, it's expanding massively. That's why issues of delimitation, they were looking at them because it has expanded. And if you look at landmass, it's also the biggest. Let's go to MUKUBWA. MUKUBWA has got a clinic which was built. There's no maternity. Okay? People knock off at 17 hours. They close the clinic. They are done. They go. When someone is sick at night, they have to go to CAV, St. Dominic. Look at the same Mushili. People know, maybe that's when it's becoming 24 hours, but people knock off as well. Go to Ashuka, which is Kaloko. It's the same thing. Small health center, but with population now of over 10,000 plus, going to maybe 15,000 people. So these are the things we need to look and relook.
But you can confirm with us that in those local wards,
yes,
indeed there are health centers.
Yes, they are. They are. But you see, not to some of them can't accommodate the growth in population.
In population.
Yes. So these are things which we.
But isn't development a process? Like you tell us, the PF, you cannot do everything at once. Development is a process. You build this, the next time you consider building that. You tell us that as a patriotic front.
Yes, it's a process, Mwansa. We are not refusing, but we are saying priority. Okay? Why build a massive police post with CDF fund and not uplift or upgrade the main clinic? What comes first? We look at health system. What comes first? Let's make, because the person, don't build me a luxurious 3-story building as a police station when the clinic there, it's a small building. It can't even facilitate people, you see. Our mothers there in Mushili, when they're doing under 5, they've got now these free caregivers. So they go this section, they just go in under a certain house, they record, they write, they teach our mothers there because the facility can't accommodate them. So that's what I'm saying. Priority is vital.
Do you think that you are the right people as a patriotic front to speak about issues of priority?
Yes, we are.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Mwambazi?
we are. We've look around, Mwansa. Look at what, in terms of infrastructure, even the first level hospitals, look at the universities, look at the road network. You see, this is to facilitate quick business, people in and out of Lusaka, being Eastern Province.
Quick business when there's no money in the economy. And so I don't think you're the right people really to speak about priority as a patriotic front.
Mwansa, that's now another topic.
Yeah, but if you're going to single out issue of priority,
yes, and
speak about Dr. Jonas Chanda as one that lacks priority, I think it is the whole lot of you in the patriotic front really. That's not the case. It's a nature.
We've made priority to the health system. We've made priority to education and all these things. Why? Because we are looking at the livelihood of the Zambian people. We've made priority for the youths. Government has embarked on a multi-sectorial empowerment programs and all that. How? Because they've made, those are the priorities. Those are the immediate things we are looking. Because look here, Mwansa, government has done robust infrastructure development in the country. What else? Okay, let's empower people. Because now people need to be empowered in the pocket. Because we've done all these things. And that's why they saw it fit through His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu to say, let's come up with these empowerment programs now, mitigate with the youths, the Women Empowerment Program, and all these other areas. So our government takes priority, because if it wasn't taking priority, there'll be, instead of moving this direction, we'll be moving the other direction. But if you look at how,
which Dr. Jonas Chanda is a part of, really.
Yes, you see, it's part of it, you see. But in your local domiciled area, you also need to, on a MP level, on a ward councillor level, on a chairman level, you need to look at priorities, because you see, the budget, okay, the money, the basket, okay, it's always not, it's like in a home, okay? You can't, you'll have 10,000 kwacha, the school fees, there's this. So you look at priorities, because you can't do everything. It's day by day as you move. But we are saying, even when you are doing that, instead of me going to pay school fees, I go and buy DSTV.
And who should determine these priorities? Is it the people or the member of parliament?
You sit with the people, but if you tell them
do you think if the patriotic front sat with the people of Zambia and asked them whether they want roads or they want food on their table, do you think they would have chosen roads?
For me, I think sometimes, okay, you know what's better for the people. Because
Probably even Dr. Johnson knows what's better for the people.
maybe in his own sense. But you see, why I'm saying that, because you cannot have everything. So you say, what comes first? We have to put in here for us to get there. But there are certain things, Mwansa, on a minute level, where you can sit with the community. They'll tell you, yes, we need this. But Kanabesa, let's start with this because we need this, then this comes later. Okay? Even the government, when they're doing things, or when they're doing budgeting, they look at those things. Which comes first? Okay, let's look at the health sector. Okay, what do we need? This or that? Okay, now we are going to reduce on infrastructure development because, yes, we've built a lot of these things. Now we need medicines in those storage facilities for medical stores. So all these things is priority because you're looking at, okay, yes, we've started this. Now we need to move on this level. That's why I'm still saying in the communities, Mwansa, because me, I go around those communities and I sit with people. And they say, if we were consulted, we could have wanted this because these were our petitions. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the things we are still talking about.
Are you looking at a better picture now that the incumbent is Minister of Health? Are you looking at maybe having hope of uplifting some of these health centers in BWANA? Do you have at least a certain percentage of hope that now is Minister responsible for health? Maybe something might be done.
Yeah, of course. You see, because you can't when you're given such a privilege by the president, then you look in your area to say how is it that I'm going to uplift or make sure that some of these, because some of these things you cannot do, they are not short term. Okay? You cannot do them immediately, but you put them in the pipeline to say, let me begin this. Okay, if I come back, if I don't come back, the next guy will come and see it's at this level and they can continue and implement it because we are coming from the same house. So these are some of the things, even when you're given that privilege, you should look at and ensure. That's why I'm saying, when he was water minister, everyone thought, oh, even he was like, okay, there'll be bores, sunk, everything, water issues will be of the past. But
and obviously thought he was going to you bury your campaign, you bury your political, future because the challenges are not getting to be sorted out.
Being sorted, but nothing much was done. So for me, I don't expect much, to be truthful, because one, we are under 2 months to go to elections. So
doesn't it give you goosebumps because I think he's done quite well from the time he was appointed minister responsible for health. He's unearthed quite a number of scandals there. Doesn't it really give you goosebumps that maybe the people of BWANA might choose him over you?
No, Mansa. That's his duties as a minister. He's doing his duties. He's working at national level. He's not doing those for the people of BWANA.
But I think he's gained public confidence among the people of Zambia for what he's doing thus far.
For me, you can go on TV and unearth all those things and bring confidence to the people of Zambia. But your performance at your constituency is at a different level, okay? So it's different. For me, it doesn't even give me a single goosebump to say now he's done that, he's unearthed that, then now I'll shiver. No, because I know the person I'm dealing with, okay? There are politicians you can be scared of and say, oh my goodness, this guy is gone there, now I'm done.
To you, he's an under 5.
For me, I can't say that. He's my comrade, he's my brother. But for me, I don't have any single goosebump to say, no, now this is going to happen because it's been minister. Nothing much has happened.
Well, issues of unemployment, youth unemployment really is on its rampant also in BWANA. Any intentions when you are in government to address this issue?
That's why, Mwansa, for us, we haven't waited also to maybe become member of parliament, but we've started mitigating that unemployment levels in the constituency by provision of livelihood skills, by provision of block-making machines to the youths to ensure that they're engaged. We sit down with them, we train them, we speak to them, we encourage them, we teach them about revenue, how to account for this, how the bank do things, and most of them, they've started making blocks. Some of them have got incubators, they're charging people to have their eggs hatched there. Some are even rearing village chicken layers. These are some of the interventions we've started to ensure that we stimulate the youths of BWANA. And again, if you look at BWANA, predominantly, that's an industrial hub. All the industries sit in BWANA. okay? I've gone to some of these companies and engaged them, and they've told us, no, but had we been engaged even through our CSR, okay, we can make provisions, okay, and attachments for the youths of BWANA MUKUBWA. What we're saying is, let's give the youths of BWANA MUKUBWA a upper hand by lobbying for them through these multinationals which are sitting in that constituency. Because all you do once is call them, say, guys, through their Chamber of Commerce, let's have a meeting as stakeholders. I'm the Member of Parliament, I want to know what you're doing. You're producing cooking oil, you're global industries, there's Indeni, there's all these other guys, other companies, Gulok and stuff like that. You sit down with them and tell them, gentlemen, me, I've got 4,000 youths unemployed. This one is a mechanic from Notec. This one has done electrical. This one, give me attachments. Let's help our youths. They're attached to them. Tomorrow, some of them are picked. So those are some of the things which haven't been done to date from 2016.
I've sat with different politicians right here on this platform. Some members of parliament tell me that it is not the job of a member of parliament to bring development to an area. Their job is to legislate, to make laws.
Mwansa, you are representing the people. The challenges of those people, you are taking them to parliament. How is it as a member of parliament do you mitigate? Because you can't just sit and say, no, me just to legislate. I go to parliament. What about the people who elected you? They're sending you with their challenges. So that's not correct for me. The kids have got challenges. They come knocking when you come to my house in Ndola and Itawa. 6 o'clock, people are knocking there.
The argument again, Mr. Mwambazi, is that, look, we've got 3 arms of government. There's the legislature, there's the executive,
yes,
and there's the judiciary. All right? MPs fall under the legislature.
Yes.
But those are the ones legislate to make laws.
Yes.
The executive are the ones that, take development.
Yes. But you see, Mwansa,
and but again, someone would also argue that he's part of the executive because he sits in cabinet.
That is the thing. But even if you're not, let's take him out of that. Let's rescue him. He's not a minister. He's just a member of parliament, okay? You're just making laws, okay? But we're saying have some certain deliberate initiatives because those challenges are coming to you as a member of parliament. You can't run away from them once. So how is it that you rescue yourself? Is by coming out with these certain interventions which you do for the youths, the empowerment programs. Some you lobby even from your colleagues from the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Guys, I've got youths, please help them. ABCD, this and that is done. Even at a personal level, as a member of parliament, you can do certain things. Yes, we are saying some of these things are not your duties, but they're affecting you because they're coming from your area. How do you put those people together? By simply going to these industries and lobbying, that doesn't mean it changes you from making laws to be an employer or to look for people's employment. But we've seen even other members of parliament and ministers empower their youth from their constituencies, look for jobs, they work at Ratsa, they do this, they do that. But how is it that you are helping the youths? So for me, my plan and my projection is to ensure I've spoken to some of these ones. I'm not talking from without. I've spoken to some of these corporate entities, and they've said, engage us. Even on, like I was saying, on corporate social responsibility. One entity told me, no, every year in our budget, if you came to us, you're a member of parliament, you say, I want 100 desks, we'll provide 100,000 as CSR. Then you come and access. Then you go and donate. All they write is donated by Zafiko or donated by Indeni. But you, as a member of parliament, with them, you take the benches to the hospital. Okay? You are helping through those entities. So it's innovation. Some of our colleagues, they lack innovation. They can speak, they can do what, they can speak well, but they lack innovation because it's innovation. What we are doing in BWANA MUKUBWA, Mwansa, is innovation. There's nothing new.
Besides the empowerment programs you're running, I do know for a fact that a few days ago, you did empower traders by giving them chickens and whatnot, but you also spoken about the block making skills that you're empowering the youths in BWANA MUKUBWA. Besides these 2 programs, what do you have to your name in BWANA MUKUBWA in terms of things you've done under your own personal capacity?
Under my personal capacity, I've done, we're still constructing 1x3 classroom at Church of Christ in Mushili for the vulnerable. We're doing a war fence at Yengo Primary School, my former school. We've done fish ponds for the youths. Come this month end, I think we invite your journalists to come and cover because we'll be harvesting fish, which we've empowered the local community. So come this month end of February, we're harvesting. We've done that. We've empowered, we've also collaborated with some churches, like the Catholic Church, the Ndeke UCZ, where we are helping with the construction of their sanctuary. We've partnered with the same St. John's the Baptist. We've partnered with UCZ and many others. And we're also doing empowerment programs through churches, because
it's like you follow the same script. You know, you aspiring members of parliament, before you go to parliament, you follow the same script. Even Dr. Jonas Chanda, you know, did most of the things they're talking about, you know, whilst he was aspiring. But again, when you go in parliament,
sir, I was with him. I was aspiring together with him. I never saw any empowerment programs done when we were aspiring in 2016. Where I saw some things done in terms of empowerment, maybe was Kabushi and Chifu. But in our constituency, I never saw any empowerment. I was in there. You move this side, I move in the other side. But what we've done us, okay?
But my question again is that the script is the same. You tend to follow the same script. You do these things for people, but once you get the power, it's like you forget completely where you come from.
For us, Mwansa, we are doing sustainable programs, okay? If I tell you about village chicken layers, we are going to provide, because so far we've given over 3,000 village chicken layers. When we give these women, they'll sign an agreement form. We give them an incubator, okay? So from there, these chickens will start laying, okay? They start hatching. We are teaching them how to open a bank account, okay? So we're not doing a thing which we do now and abandon once we are voted in, okay? We are teaching them. We conduct lessons even before we give them a chicken. We go to the seminary there in Francis, there we sit. People come from Ministry of Livestock, people come, and other local guys who are conversant. They teach them about accountability, about medicines they need, about how to rear chickens. So we are imparting a skill which won't end there, but is sustainable. Even if there is no campaigns as what, they can still say, with 4 or 5 chickens, I've got 12 chickens at my place in Ndola, and they're giving me 2 trays of eggs every day. When they come, I show them, saying, if these 12 chickens are giving me these eggs, I give you 50 chickens or 100 per group. How many chickens are you going to be having? Oh, they're surprised. Big chickens like this. Okay? So even look at fish ponds. It's something which is sustainable and bringing revenue, because we're telling them we are planting a seed. We give you fingerlings after constructing. Okay? You have the fish. Once you're about to harvest, book for the fingerlings. Okay? So look at what you've harvested, you sell. There's a shortage of white meat. They sell. When they sell that, they look at their revenue, our expenses, the guy keeping the fish, the feed, we spend this much. Okay, we are buying fish, we are banking this more money. Okay? Then soon we'll be constructing about five fish ponds along Curve area. We are waiting for clearance from the Catholic. They've given us clearance because they've seen what we are doing. Come maybe next month, we start to construct. And these ones are along the river, so we're not going to put cement or what is just those polythings and stuff like that, because it's sustainable. Even when Mwambazi is not there in BWANA.
Even the 200,000, kwacha that you rolled out.
Yes.
I know that it's a revolving fund. But how does it work out now?
The way it works out is when we go to the market, okay, they tell us there are 100 marketeers. We say, okay, we're going to bring a 20,000 kwacha or a 30,000 kwacha. They sign agreement forms. When they're getting a 500, they pay 50 kwacha, okay? As their interest already of 10% of that loan, they bring 50 kwacha, they get 500. That 50 kwacha, if 10 of them have done 50 kwachas, okay? That's another, how much? 500 kwacha. Another person gets that money on the list, okay? She also pays the 50 kwacha, okay? So this is like village banking. Then they're growing their money. We've told them, this is your money. If they do very well once, I'm going back there, and I'm giving another 200,000 kwacha, because I want them to grow that money. I've told them, I'm not coming to say, Mwambazi, okay, now you've grown the money, bring back some of the money. I've always emphasized in the meeting, this is your money. If you lose it, you misappropriate the money, it's at your own peril. Because we want to teach you so that you are self-sustaining.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. Because you see, Mwansa, these people in these constituencies, there are certain good programs which have come there. But because some people are not serious, they don't take them serious. No, this is campaign, no, this what, all that what, they squander the money. But as we are inculcating a culture to ensure that these people, they make sure that they grow the money. That is our message. Because we don't want them tomorrow to come and point to say, no, they didn't do much, no, they didn't. We want them to have those skills and ensure that their business flourish.
Right now, when you ask the people of BWANA, whether Jonas Chand has failed, they'll tell you the PF have failed because they sent us this man to, is the man that, was charged with the responsibility to look after our affairs. They'll say the PF have failed. Don't you think it is risking to contest under the PF ticket, seeing that probably it has fallen from grace, really? Aren't you risking your chances of winning by contesting on this ticket that many have said, I think it's fallen from grace?
Once I'm still in a PF Provincial Mobilization Committee, and I can tell you the people are still in love with the party, and it has not fallen. And come 2021, we'll still win as Patriotic Front, and most of those seats in the Copper Belt, all we need to do is we ensure that we put candidates which are on the ground, which people want. That's the only medicine. Coming back to your question to say PF has failed, we put certain leadership in some of these constituencies, wards, and things like that. But it's the acumen of those leadership sometimes, like I've already said, I think several times in my submissions, that people are different and they look at things differently. Some people are not, they've got different priorities, and hence it shows like things haven't been, the government hasn't performed, but the government has performed. But it's your if we give you CDF fund, we're not telling you, this CDF fund as a government now, go and make that one. It's you to have a priority. If you are going to start...
But obviously the people of BWANA will not judge him as an individual. They'll judge him, on the party. Those are the PF, the failures.
Firstly, they'll judge you as a sitting MP, as an individual. Then they've gone out to a bigger... Because they're seeing other constituencies flourishing, okay? So they're not going to pick you separately and say, no, the PF has failed here, but it has worked in Chifubu. Or it has worked in another constituency. No. First, it comes with you. Because you are given, certain constituencies are given the same CDF allocations, if I'm not mistaken. So if they give you 700, they give me 700. I go and start a double story for 7 million every, I don't know, quarter or what, when I'm given that money. By the time it's 5 years, it won't even be complete. You see? So I need to look at, I need to be clever. Okay, CDF, when you miss it this month, it won't come. They won't pay you because they never paid you. It's like funding in the government. Way back, when they don't fund you this month, they're not going to fund you retrospective. No, they'll find you going forward. So if you've missed, it has pushed
probably
you
maybe it's futuristic in his thinking. Like maybe you're also futuristic as a PF in your thinking. You don't, you've not addressed the immediate challenges the people of Zambia are going through. You tell us in the future things will be better. Probably even his priority list, is contained with things that are a bit futuristic.
Once it's not like that. I think I've stressed that point to say, in every environment you look at first and foremost, what is it that we can do in a short term, in a medium term, in a long term,
and in long term.
And when you're starting some of these things, I mean, I've been sitting in these government offices, and I know how the system works. So you need to rescue yourself and say, okay, gentlemen, in the quickest possible time, what can we do? Okay, we're going to start with this program, and you look also at the funding. Yeah. And you look at how your funding.
Well, what happens to your political career if you're not adopted? Do you think you will not? Let me ask that way. What happens to your political career if you're not adopted, Mr. Mwambazi?
For me, Mwansa, I've done my level best, and I'll continue to do that to ensure that I help the people of BWANA. If the party doesn't adopt me, it's not the first time I've respected the party. Okay, with their decision, His Excellency spoke to us 2016 and say, gentlemen, this is not the end of the road. There are so many things you can do. So let's first let it come. Then I think we'll pick it up from there. After the adoptions, then we're able to realign ourselves and see how we move forward as a party.
But you can't get the shock of not being adopted.
Adoption and politics is a competitive game. So it depends how you position yourself and how you do certain things. So for us, we continue to push until that day, and continue to put our level best to support the party and ensure that our people are helped in BWANA constituency.
If you stood as independent, do you think you would win?
I haven't come to that yet, Mansa. I don't want to preempt things, but we are popular on the ground, and we are doing this with the party, through the party, because the party is bigger than every one of us. Yeah.
Your last remarks to the people of BWANA MUKUBWA as we close the program.
Yes, all I can say for the people of BWANA MUKUBWA is that you've got able leadership coming. We've seen how we've worked together and continue to work together, and we can do much more, because Warren Chisha Mwambazi is not a savior, but he's just like any one of you. All we need to do is work together with these communities, and together we'll achieve. If I say I'm going to finish all their problems, I'll be lying. But I've always told them openly to say, let's work together, let's unite, and we can achieve together. That's what I still want to tell the people of BWANA MUKUBWA. Together we will achieve. I thank you.
Well, the people of BWANA MUKUBWA, there you have it. We had an edition with an aspiring member of parliament for your constituency. Hope you got the solutions that he has for your challenges. My name is Andrew Mwansa. Thank you so much to the producer and director of this program, Avuto Piri. For now, good night, and see you on Wednesday for another special edition of The Assignment.
Hello, we're going to win the fight against the coronavirus. But to do that, we need to follow these basic prevention guidelines.